Now, let's go ahead and pull up a script, and let's start going through connecting questions. Okay, so tell me so your average prospect has what problems?
They are not getting the yields that they want, or they're spending too much time working.
So they're already investing?
Sometimes it's biz op, sometimes it's more of
What's it most of the time?
It's honestly 50-50.
Okay, so 50-50 are people who want to make more money. So make more money, have more time.
Yeah.
So they want to get out of their job.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's very similar to like selling Amazon.
Okay, good.
How dare you? Ours is so different.
Get out of job. All right. And then the other 50% are what?
Are people who want to get out of their 9 to 5.
Oh, I already
You
put that.
have one. The other one is people who are currently investing in crypto, but they don't have the skills to make the returns they want, so they want to get better.
Okay, so
or
they're
a coaching offer then, as opposed to biz op.
okay. So they're investors,
Yep.
They want big returns.
and they want bigger
gains.
returns.
The generational wealth.
So they're in the stock market making 10-12% a year, and they want like 2,000% a month type of gains.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Okay. Yield
Are you
farming.
interested, Jeremy? We can hop on a call
Hey, there we go.
if you're open to it.
Yeah. Let me throw
possibility
some money in there, see what happens. Okay, so tell me who Sam should be. What do you want Sam to be on this sales call?
What would you like to be, Sam?
Sam, what would you like to be? Who would you like to be? Actually, why don't you just be you? So Sam, I want you to go back before you ever got in with Sales Sniper, before you even knew who this guy was. You don't know anything about yield farming.
Such a bad life.
Okay? And you're a guy that has a job, and you're tired of the job a little bit. You want to make more money. You're not really sure about what this is, and would he have saw some ad on Facebook or YouTube or something?
Yeah.
And what would have that ad or YouTube ad said that enticed him to respond?
It would have enticed him because of the
House of Gains.
freedom. The what?
House of Gains.
The massive gains. That's essentially it. It's like massive gains and
Okay.
stepping away from working all day.
But what does he see? Does he see somebody like flying in their
Sees
jet
freedom.
because they made all the money? Do they see a Lambo? Like, what does he see?
You're not far off.
Okay.
So he sees it.
It's not a biz op marketing. It is a very well done, interesting DSL.
Okay.
That shows the ins and outs of how David Malka, who is the founder, actually goes through and does this, and why it is lower risk than traditional crypto investing, and
Okay.
higher gain than traditional.
I'm going to start asking Will these questions instead of you guys. Okay. I like. Okay, good. So he really breaks it down. That felt very legit, what you just described. An investor and a guy that has done well in this type of investing, who's now teaching people how to make those type of gains with lower risk. Okay, so that's who you are. You responded to it. You've got a 9-to-5 job. Let's say that he's a what? What's your average person do for a living?
They're all over. Let's say you.
Be a welder,
Just be you,
which
yeah,
is
you're a
which is
welder.
what I was doing
Okay.
before.
Okay, so you're a welder. So go back to your welding days.
Okay.
Put your welding hat on. What did you think of? What were your fears when you were a welder?
Yeah.
You would have saw that ad. You might have been excited, but yet a little bit like, is this too good to be true? Is it real? I want you to think like you were before you got here. Can you do that?
Yeah, it's really intimidating being 3 feet from you.
No, I'm not that cool. Okay. All right. So you just be you, because I know you. You just be you. And you've booked on the calendar. So these are inbound leads.
Inbound leads.
Okay. You're on Zoom.
On Zoom, probably
Okay.
straight to strategy session, I would say.
Yeah.
No triage.
Okay.
Yeah, big application. They know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean? They know what they're getting into. I don't know what that means.
They have to be qualified to have at least, for a while, it was $30,000 liquidity investment.
How do you know if they're qualified or not? Do they have to?
The application. So
I have to give you guys my financials. Like, here's my.
No, they just check a box.
Oh, so they just check the box.
Yeah.
Are they mostly truthful in
On
their?
their system, most people are, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds good. Where do you want me to sit? Is it too uncomfortable if I sit right next to you?
No, I'll just look past you.
Okay. I just want to see how your teeth
hold hands,
react when you talk. Okay.
I have very reactive teeth, if you didn't know.
Now, let me ask you this on the script here, because I'm already seeing some challenges. Okay, so with the average prospect, would Sam as the welder, looks like you recently booked a call with us about possibly starting yield farming. Would Sam the welder know what yield farming actually really means?
Yeah.
Or not?
A lot of the times. You get people who don't know what it is.
I would just say, I would say yes to that because I'm embarrassed to say no if I'm at that point.
Okay.
No, I'm being 100%
I would
serious.
suggest to you that
as a
most
prospect.
people, even if they saw the ad, if you just said yield farming,
They think somebody's growing crops somewhere.
Yeah.
most are not going to know what that means.
What I usually say is booked a call about possibly learning how to yield farm effectively, which
About possibly making more money with yield farming.
yeah.
We have to be incredibly careful with the language on this, Jeremy.
Okay.
The FTC is cracking down on crypto
Okay.
in a big way, so we are
But you don't guarantee they're going to make more money. So if I say possibly,
investing.
can I say possibly learning how to make money with yield farming?
Yeah, what we've been kind of teaching you guys is getting a higher return with a little bit more stability with crypto.
But recently booked a call with us about possibly getting a higher return with yield farming.
Yes.
Okay, we want to trigger something in the prospect's mind of why they responded. Remember, you're not selling.
My Amazon package is
You're not selling the thing. You're not selling the yield farming. You're selling the results of what yield farming does for them. That's what you're selling. And what are the results that yield farming does for them?
stability and
Stability, bigger returns. That's what you're selling. Time freedom, that's what you're selling. You're not selling yield farming. Nobody cares about yield farming, okay? But you do got to be careful, like Will says, with the FTC, all right? So, now let's go ahead and pull up a script and let's start going through connecting questions. Okay, so tell me so your average prospect has what problems?
they are not getting the yields that they want, or they're spending too much time working.
So they're already investing?
Sometimes it's biz op, sometimes it's more of
What's it most of the time?
It's honestly 50-50.
Okay, so 50-50 are people who want to make more money. So make more money, have more time.
Yeah.
So they want to get out of their job.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's very similar to like selling Amazon.
Okay,
How
good.
dare you? Ours is so different.
Get out of job. All right. And then the other 50% are what?
Are people who want to get out of their 9 to 5.
Oh, I already
You
put
have
that.
one. The other one is people who are currently investing in crypto, but they don't have the skills to make the returns they want, so they want to get better.
Okay, so
Or
they're
a coaching offer then, as opposed to biz op.
okay, so they're investors
Yeah.
They want big returns.
and they want bigger
gains.
returns.
That generational wealth.
So they're in the stock market making 12% a year, and they want like 2,000% a month type of gains.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Okay. Yield
Are you
farming.
interested, Jeremy? We can hop on a call later,
Hey, there we go.
if you're open to it.
Yeah. Let me throw
There's a
some
possibility
some
of
money in
maybe.
there, see what happens. Okay, so tell me who Sam should be. What do you want Sam to be on this sales call?
What would you like to be, Sam?
Sam, what would you like to be? Who would you like to be? Actually, why don't you just be you? So Sam, I want you to go back before you ever got in with Sales Sniper, before you even knew who this guy was. You don't know anything about yield farming.
Such a bad life.
Okay? And you're a guy that has a job and you're tired of the job a little bit. You want to make more money. You're not really sure about what this is, and would he have saw some ad on Facebook or YouTube or something?
Yeah.
And what would have that ad or YouTube ad said that enticed him to respond?
It would have enticed him because of the
House of Gains.
freedom. The what?
House of Gains.
The massive gains. That's essentially it. It's like
Yeah.
massive gains and
Okay.
stepping away from working all day.
But what does he see? Does he see somebody like flying in their
Sees
jet
freedom.
because they made all the money? Do they see a Lambo?
You're
Like
not-
what
you're
does he
not-
see?
You're not far off.
Okay.
So he sees it.
It's not a biz op marketing. It is a very well done, interesting DSL
Okay.
that shows the ins and outs of
Okay.
higher gain than traditional pine.
I'm going to start asking Will these questions instead of you guys. Okay, good. So he really breaks it down. That felt very legit, what you just described. An investor and a guy that has done well in this type of investing, who's now teaching people how to make those type of gains with lower risk. Okay, so that's who you are. You responded to it. You've got a 9-to-5 job. Let's say that he's a what? What's your average person do for a living?
They're all over. Let's say you.
Be a welder,
Just be you,
which
yeah,
is
you're a
what
welder.
I was doing
You
before.
can't-
Okay, so you're a welder. So go back to your welding days.
Okay.
Put your welding hat on. What did you think of? What were your fears when you were a welder?
Yeah.
You would have saw that ad. You might have been excited, but yet a little bit like, is this too good to be true? Is it real? I want you to think like you were before you got here. Can you do that?
Yeah, it's really intimidating being 3 feet from you.
No, I'm not that cool. Okay. All right. So you just be you, because I know you. You just be you. And you've booked on the calendar. So these are inbound leads.
Inbound leads
Okay. You're on Zoom.
on Zoom. Probably
Okay.
straight to strategy session, I would say.
Yeah.
No triage.
Okay.
Yeah, big application. They know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean? They know what they're getting into. I don't know what that means.
They have to be qualified to have at least, for a while, it was $30,000 liquidity investment.
How do you know if they're qualified or not? Do they have to?
The application. So
Would that, I have to give you guys my financials. Like, here's my.
No, they just check a box.
Oh, so they just checks a box.
Yeah.
Are they mostly truthful in
On
their?
their system, most people are, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds good. Where do you want me to sit? Is it too uncomfortable if I sit right next to you?
No, I'll just look past you.
Okay. I just want to see how your teeth
hold hands,
react when you talk. Okay.
I have very reactive teeth, if you didn't know.
Now, let me ask you this on the script here, because I'm already seeing some challenges. Okay, so with the average prospect, would Sam as the welder, looks like you recently booked a call with us about possibly starting yield farming. Would Sam the welder know what yield farming actually really means
Yeah.
or not?
A lot of the times. You get people who don't know what it is.
I would just say, yes to that because I'm embarrassed to say no if I'm at that point.
Okay.
No, I'm being 100%
I would
serious.
suggest to you
No,
that
as a
most
prospect.
people, even if they saw the ad, if you just said yield farming,
They think somebody's going to grow in crops somewhere.
Yeah.
most are not going to know what that means.
What I usually say is booked a call about possibly learning how to yield farm effectively, which
About possibly making more money with yield farming.
yeah.
We have to be incredibly careful with the language on this, Jeremy.
Okay.
The FTC is cracking down on crypto
Okay.
in a big way, so we are
But you don't guarantee they're going to make more money. So if I say possibly,
investing.
can I say possibly learning how to make money with yield farming?
Yeah, what we've been kind of teaching the guys is getting a higher return with a little bit more stability with crypto.
Recently booked a call with us about possibly getting a higher return with yield farming.
Yes.
Okay, we want to trigger something in the prospect's mind of why they responded. Remember, you're not selling.
My Amazon package is here.
You're not selling the thing. You're not selling the yield farming. You're selling the results of what yield farming does for them. That's what you're selling. And what are the results that yield farming does for them?
Stability and
Stability, bigger returns. That's what you're selling. Time freedom, that's what you're selling. You're not selling yield farming. Nobody cares about yield farming, okay? But you do got to be careful, like Will says, with the FTC, all right? So I would say I'm not going to do this right now, but whoever has access to that sales structure, we might want to make that change there. Looks like you had booked a call with us about, let's say, I would say two different versions. Looks like you had booked a call with us about possibly learning how to get a higher rate of return with yield farming, right? Or it looks like you had booked a call with us about possibly learning how to make money with yield farming or make more money with yield farming. Whatever, just
it's on
put
the line.
just put the differences there. Maybe higher rate of return, something like that with yield farming, something like that. But you put in the word possibly,
We'll figure it out.
so it's not guaranteeing anything. See, that neutral word comes in handy. All right. Now, sorry, my brain just, I see words. What?
I just had a quick question for you.
What's your question?
When you talk about like not selling a thing and like prospects like, well, let me know, or maybe this is a question for later on, but the prospects like, that all makes sense. Could you tell me specifically how it works, like your techniques?
Let's go through that in the presentation. Save that question for the presentation tomorrow, because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Okay, Tony,
It went down the hole?
are
When
you
did that happen?
are you ready? Sam, are you
I'm
ready? How do you feel?
Better
Okay.
now that you're 5 feet away.
All right, now,
It's the eye contact.
everybody else in here, you are our panel, our constructive feedback panel. What did Tony do well? What are some things he can possibly improve on? Maybe he can't improve on anything. Okay?
Probably that one.
Constructive feedback panel, I want you to take a pen and a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, write down Tony. Oh, we're all going to do this.
This is so much better
Just
live.
a matter. It's not a
This
matter
is
of
so much better
if
live.
you're going to be up here, but just when you're going to be up here, today and tomorrow. And underneath Tony's name, write likes and dislikes.
That's my biggest fear. Also.
Yeah.
And for what Tony does really, really well, write down what you like, and what he could maybe improve on, write that on the other side. Okay, and I'm going to come around and ask a few of you, and then there's a few things I already want to change on this just by looking at it. Okay? All right. Big breath. You guys ready? Okay, Sam, you got to be serious. Okay, now Sam, I don't want you to be too easy.
I'm not going to T-ball him
But
anything.
we're not in a T-ball game.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't have to be like crazy hard
Yeah, I'm gonna
where
be
he can't even talk.
I'm gonna
Just
be me as the.
just be what the average prospect
Yeah.
is.
I can do that.
Okay? Tony, you just be you. Okay? All right,
Everyone else is already taken?
we're ready to roll.
Okay.
Let's go.
Hey, Sam, this is it's just.
Now hold on. Sorry. Okay. Now
I'll
since
start.
we're on Zoom,
Yeah.
you know, to be like, hey, I'm calling, just be like, hey, can you hear me okay? Because that's usually what happens on a Zoom call, right?
Okay,
Can
yeah.
you hear me
Do the
okay?
beautiful Zoom.
You know, do the whole,
dance,
do the
Zoom
whole,
dance.
do the Zoom dance. Like,
Okay.
I want
Oh,
this to be
yeah.
as real as possible,
Okay.
not like acting like you're calling because you're on Zoom. Do the Zoom dance. Just take the first 10, 15 seconds, do the Zoom dance. Okay, let's go.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, is this Tony? How's it going,
You're
man?
muted, brother. I can't. I see your lips moving, but I can't
Oh,
hear
okay.
you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
my
my
connection- my
connection's
connection
weak.
must
Yeah.
be bad. Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. I can. It's good to
Okay.
see your handsome face.
Same to you, man.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Well, hey, looks like you booked in recently about possibly getting a higher rate of return with yield farming and sort of securing your investments a bit further. I should probably start off by asking, though, have you found what you're looking for already, or?
No.
or are you still
I'm
looking?
going to stop you. Only if outbound. This is inbound. Not your fault.
It was at the very end.
Just ignore this. Only, like, hey, I want to make sure everybody understands this. It wasn't Tony's fault. Somebody just put this here. You would never say this on an inbound call. We don't need to say, have you found what you're looking for? Are you still looking? When they've booked on the calendar, because they're there on the calendar.
Is that the same for the time question? Is now still a good time?
You would never ask that on an inbound call because they're the one that picked that time.
Yeah.
Okay? So if it's an outbound lead, is this an appropriate time? Okay? Outbound only.
Gotcha.
Okay? All right. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to clarify that so everybody didn't start doing that tomorrow.
Good interruption.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, about possibly getting a higher rate of return with yield farming. Now, this first call is really more for me to find out more about what you've been doing in the past, Sam, and what you're doing now. And I think really more of what you're actually looking for, just to see if we can really help you in the first place. So I'm just curious, when you went through the ad the other day, other than the ability to make more money, I guess what was it that attracted your attention?
Well, I think for me, man, it was just the. It seemed like all you hear about in crypto is that it's super risky, and like with what you guys were talking about, like through that VSL, it just made sense as to like being less of a risk, like more of a I guess, more of a traditional
Sure.
style of doing a risky investment like that, which I thought was pretty cool, and I just wanted to learn more.
Okay, cool.
Keep going.
Still going? Okay. Let's scroll down, TC? Or, huh?
You can't scroll down.
Oh,
You have to have it in your head.
Ooh,
No
all right.
cheating.
Challenging. I thought because you said do it exactly.
No, what's your next question?
All right. Fuck on the spot. Okay, cool. So, what was it that attracted your attention? All right, and now you said learning a bit more about sort of securing your investments a bit. What do you mean by that exactly, Sam?
Well, I mean, it's just, I'd like to diversify my portfolio, and I think that the rates of return that you guys were talking about were, like, better, I guess, like a lot
And can you
Possibly.
tell me what you're doing now?
Okay, good. Stop there. All right, constructive feedback panel. What did Tony do well? Quickly. Ace? Meaning?
Like the pausing throughout the questions doesn't sound
Good. You? What's your name? Tyson.
Tyson.
Hyson.
Hyson. Hyson?
Hyson.
Why didn't I get a cool name like that? All right, what's your, okay, go ahead. No, my mom made me Jeremy. Thanks, Mom. Go ahead.
He's like adding more words, so it's kind of flowing more to like what it's in the script.
Conversational? Okay, good. Somebody else have comments? Quickly.
It's really disarming. Like it does not.
How did you feel it disarmed Sam?
Well, possibly the spacing, really taking his time through it.
Okay.
There was no moment where Sam would have any resistance. That's all.
Okay, good. What else?
It was like, he had like a good grounded, calm energy, so he wasn't like trying to chase Sam for energy or for answers. He was just kind of like, hey, where your job? Like, it was very casual in his demeanor.
Yep. Tony's really good at that. Yeah. Yeah. See what he did there? Somebody changed it. Thank you, heavens.
Yeah, to print money.
To print more money. To
Gonna
print
say,
money.
that
Besides
was
wanting
like,
to
that's
print
not,
more
that's not
money.
over the line?
Okay.
That's
Do you
not
see-
over the line?
Okay. Now, do you guys see the difference between print more money, how that sounds in a prospect's mind, compared to just make more money? What do you think is going to trigger fight or flight mode? Print more money or possibly make more money? Do you see it means the same thing, right? I mean, print more money sounds really cool to us, but how does it sound to them? How would it sound to you? Cheesy, too good to be true. Scams. See, that automatically triggers that in your mind. So if it triggers in your mind, you're.
She talks about printing money. It's
Yes.
probably new farming jargon, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, but we have to put ourselves in their shoes, not our shoes or his shoes. That sounds really cool to us, but to them, think about Sam is the welder. Are you in his shoes? Okay? What's going on in his mind? What's his concerns? I'd stop laughing. What's his concerns? He's got a family to feed. Okay? He's worried about his job. Okay? So when he hears things like print more money and like flashy stuff, it just triggers.
Yeah. I got weirded out reading Print More Money,
Yeah.
thinking that Tony was going to say that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
no.
you were like,
Oh, no.
more money. See, that was a good catch. Good job. All right, what can Tony improve on, if anything? What can Tony improve on? Quickly, what can Tony improve on?
Sam could have potentially kept going on and on there. A little bit more acknowledgement question or words as what he's saying, so that
Yeah.
way he can just ease into the next question.
Okay. Yeah.
Stand it right
Okay. What else? Quickly?
Knowing his script.
Okay. Yeah, possibly. Right? Ouch. See, hey, constructive feedback panel here, right? It's like I said, it's a big issue with people who work from an office or work from home. Is we have it plastered up there, right? Can George Clooney do that in an audition? Nope. Okay. Huh? True, true. But we only get one take. See, George Clooney can screw up, right? And they can retake it. Tony can't do that because Sam's already fight or flight mode. He's gone. You see what I mean? Okay. Difference? All right. Can I role play?
Yeah,
Okay. How about I role play with Sam?
do it.
Is that okay?
want the
Can I
seat?
sit in your chair?
Can I sit in your chair?
Can I sit in your? Yeah. You can.
Trade chairs?
Yeah. You can trade chairs.
All right, perfect.
I just got voluntold.
Who's the Jerry now?
Okay. Now, one thing we want to do, that I really like to do that I've added for you guys that I would do a lot in especially B2B, but I think it works really B2B sale. And I'm not gonna role play this. I'm gonna say this in mind. Now, I would say the first part of this call is really more for us to find out more about kind of, what you've been doing in the past as far as investment wise, and then really what you're, let's say, looking for, just to see if we can actually help. Because there's some people there's just not much we can do. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
You see what I just added there at the end? What goes on in your mind when I say that at the end?
That was so conversational. You were just talking to us, and then you went into that, and I didn't even know you transitioned into talking to Sam.
See, because there's just some people, there's not much we can do for them. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it's important at the end you say, you know what I mean by that. Because what are they going to do when I say that?
Oh, yeah, man.
Nope, I don't know what you mean by that. They'll just agree with you, okay? Do you see what I just did there?
And I like your leaning in.
So is that the first? Like, is that the first buy-in? Like them agreeing with that? Like, is that?
It's just to disarm them. Because I'm saying, so basically when I say they're just, because there's some people there's just not much we can do for them, when I admit that what we're doing might not be for you, and I admit that to them.
Yeah, you're already the weirdest sales guy they've ever talked to.
Well, do you think, this guy's really a weird salesperson?
No,
I'm just saying,
it's different.
what do they think in their mind?
Yeah, it's like, this is different.
You're more advisor role than
Yeah.
Yeah,
than
this is
sales.
different.
Yeah. Because
He thinks someone could be like, well, what are those people that you can help? Like, who is it you can
that's why you always say, because you know what I mean by that. Because if you don't say that at the end, then you can trigger that.
That's right.
Now, not very often, okay? But I had somebody in Inner Circle call that did that the other day, but didn't say, you know what I mean by that. He didn't say that. And it triggered the lady, she still bought, but she said, well, gosh, I hope you can help me.
That's
Okay.
so smart, because then when they agree, when they confirm with you, now they go through their head of like, well, who are people that they can't help? They answer their own questions.
Yeah, because maybe they're thinking like, maybe they're not thinking like, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy this because he said that. They're thinking like, I hope it works. I hope it's gonna be for me.
Yeah.
That's what they're hoping. I mean, they booked on your calendar. Of course, that's what they're hoping. They just don't know what they don't know yet. Okay?
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm hearing like this first call. Is that because it's a B2B and there's multiple calls? Or is that
Well, it could be that, or we could say the first part of this call. So if it's a 2-call close, I'm going to say the first call. If it's a 1-call close, I'm going to say the first part of this call. Do you see the difference in that? Yeah. Okay? Does that help everybody? Now, most of you guys do 1-call closes. I'm sure there's some that might do a 2-call close, depending on what you sell. So if it's a 1-call close, the first part of this call. If it's a 2-call close, the first call. Okay? See, that's what we call frame, but it's not, before you guys learned anything from me or Matt or Marco or Will or anybody, how did you frame your calls before you knew anything? What would you say?
So what we're gonna do on this call is go through a bunch of stuff, and at the end you're gonna be prepared to make a decision. It could be yes, it could be no. It doesn't really matter either way. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you're okay with that, we can proceed.
Yeah? And what do you think that triggered? Mainly flight, because most of your prospects agreed to that. But that does not disarm them. That actually makes them like go from being open to more shut down, because they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you what their real problems are and what they really need and what's behind the why. When you just said at the end of the call, it's going to be a yes or it's going to be a no. Now, at the end of the call, we know that that's what we're going to get them to do. But when we tell them up front like that, it triggers them flight mode, where they just go along with it, but they don't open up. And if they don't open up emotionally, what do we get at the end? Even though we said at the end of the call, it's going to be yes or no.
Yeah, I need to think about it.
You're still right. See what I mean? Okay. All right, so let's just role play real quick. Let's just go through the Zoom thing. Can you hear me? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, so looks like you had booked on the calendar about possibly getting or learning how to get kind of a higher rate of return with yield farming, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say the first part of this call is really more for us to find out, let's say, more about kind of what you've been doing investment-wise in the past. I would even say, what you're, looking for now. mainly to see if we can actually help you, because there's just some people, there's just not much, we can do for you. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
I was curious, though, like when you went through the ad where you saw Michael and his Lambo talking about billions of dollars, what was it what he was going over that maybe attracted your attention?
Well, I think it was like that, but mainly like it was just a very easy to follow way, like that he was talking about how this all works.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Well,
like,
he's not that cool.
well, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. And what were you hoping to get out of the call with us today, just so I have a better understanding?
Well, I was hoping to learn like more specifically what
Sure.
you guys do, like how
Yeah.
the whole process works, and like
Yeah.
how I might be able to get started.
Okay.
Like I guess if it makes sense, but
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, and we'll cover all that for sure. What do you do for investing now? Like, what are you mainly in?
so my union hall has a
Okay, stop.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, I've never sold yield farming, but what was the difference there? Now, Tony was really good, actually. Okay, but what did you pick up from me that you felt like was good?
Really conversation.
In what way? Okay, can I sit back here?
Yeah.
You're the man. Yes, you can. With your permission? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So it's not just like what we mentioned, because I'm not sure if we can help you, but it's also the fact that it's a good question. Really, just overall conversation. It sounded like you're actually having a conversation. You're leaning forward.
Okay. Why was I leaning forward, even like on Zoom?
Because you're intrigued. And you're
Okay.
intrigued there.
Now, do you think when I was on the phone, when I just did phone sales and they couldn't see me, that I still lean forward?
Yep.
Why? Why? Because it affects my tonality. Because if I just set up here and I'm like this the whole time, it'd be like an actor in a movie doing that. Like you would be like, what the hell's wrong with that person? Like it's the same thing. So even if I'm on the phone and they can't see me, I'm still like, okay, so what were you hoping to get out of the call with us, just so I have a better understanding?
There's so much
See
curiosity
my
in
face?
your tone.
Yeah. Now, do I know exactly what I'm asking and saying?
Yeah.
Yes. But I act like I don't. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
When you go about the part of, you know what I mean by that, you're asking it more, it's more of a statement than a question, even though it's a question.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you're like, you know what I mean by that?
You know what I mean by that.
Is that intentional?
Nobody's ever going to say, no, I don't know what you mean by that. Tell me what you mean by that. Nobody's going to say, they're going to be like, yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you don't ask it as a question, you just, it's a statement, and then you can.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, there's just some people that, there's just not much we can, do anything for. You know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
That's going to be their action every single time. Unless you sound like a robot. And it will probably still be the same reaction. Okay. What else did you pick up?
I noticed you said this. Oh God.
You mentioned that this call is for us instead of this call is for me. to
Yes,
figure out.
no, that was a big,
Yeah.
well done, well done. Give her a bagel. That was awesome. All right.
Yay!
All right. The next person gets some strawberries. Okay, so why would I say this call is really more for us rather than saying this call is really more for me?
For me, it's like puts attention on you versus us is more like collaborative, right?
Yes, us is collaborative. Us,
Point of connecting faces to focus off you, so why would you even have the word me in there?
Yeah.
me is you. Okay? See that? I hate that word me. It's like there's just some words that I cringe when I hear that, and I'm like, how do I change it where it's not me? Like I have to look for a different word. Our, us. Those are words. So this call's really for us. So when they feel that, they feel like they're part of the call, not just you hammering them on the head. Now, one thing he said, and I said, okay, and what were you hoping to get out of the call with us, just so I have a better understanding? Now, most people are going to say what Sam did. What did you say? I'm hoping that I learn
more about what you do.
And sometimes they'll say, I want to know the cost. Okay? Now, did you notice what I said when he said that? Oh, yeah, for sure. We'll go through all that for sure. So you can't ignore that. If you ignore that, you're going to trigger. Oh, can't spell. Okay, so notice, I need to keep them disarmed. Oh, this is getting messy. Okay? I'm just giving you an example, or I'm going to give you an example of disarming and fight or flight mode throughout the whole entire structure. Okay? Okay. So when he says, well, I just want to, most people are going to say, well, I just want to know more about it and kind of how it works and just the cost and everything. I'm worried about my budget. They might even say that. And if you just ignore and you go right in, what's your first situation question? I can't remember.
What are you currently doing?
Yeah, like okay, so maybe, do you have an application where you know if they're like a full-time investor, part-time investor, or do you have anything like that?
I don't think it says anything on the application. It just kind of goes to their funding, right?
Okay. So is the first, okay, let's wait for situation questions in a minute, because we're going to cover that in a second, okay? So we have to, okay, so we disarmed him here in the beginning. You know what I mean by that. That's a disarm. And then notice like within like 30 seconds, when I ask him, okay, so what were you hoping to get out of the call, blah, blah, and you're like, well, I want to know about this and that. And when I said, oh yeah, for sure, we'll go through all those details, that was me doing what? Disarming again. Within 30 seconds. I'm always disarming. My questions are meant to disarm them the whole way through. That's how, when I talk about objection prevention, that's possible because of I'm disarming them. It's not possible if I don't disarm them. If I don't disarm them the whole way through, they're in here somewhere, and they have what in their minds? An objection or objections that are going to come out either in that call or maybe while they're getting their funds together, while they're going from the bathroom to the kitchen and they don't call you back. Like, they're here, they've got some type of concern, but I'd rather just keep disarming them where the objections are just prevented from happening in their mind. That makes selling so much more easier. It's like every sale is almost a lay-down sale. Rather than you like, oh my gosh, like at the end of the night, you're like, man, I'm broken. Like, I made that one sale, but I was on there an hour and a half with them, and then that guy ran off, and God, I hope and pray that she answers the phone tomorrow on that think about when I'm going to meet her and her husband. I hope and pray that they're on there. Like, you don't want to have to go to bed every night like with that anxiety, right? You want to prevent now you can't prevent 100%, but if I can prevent 70%, and make 70% of my sales like really just kind of easy, just makes selling a lot more profitable, and it just makes it, where you don't have burnout. Because what's the biggest reason why salespeople get burned out? What's the biggest reason?
Bad calls.
Because they're constantly
Opium.
in this. They're constantly dealing with this with most of their sales. They're constantly dealing with fight or flight because they're chasing, or people are fighting them all the time. And when you're constantly chasing people, go back to the dating world, when you were single, when you were constantly chasing or fighting to try to win the person over, how did you emotionally feel? Drained. You see it's all tied in. Human behavior is all tied in, okay? When we're in sales, we're going through the same thing. Chasing, fighting to try to win them over, win the date over. If you're dating, win the sale over. It's all the same. Win your kids over if you have kids. It's all human behavior, okay? Most of this can be prevented if you know how to disarm throughout the whole process. Any questions so far? Hit me with some questions. Yes, Meg.
It's just for the
I
recording.
feel like it's not.
It's for the recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. In terms
It's for
of
looks, Maggie. We just did microphone.
In terms of leaning forward and being super engaged, how does mirroring play a factor in that? Because sometimes when I start the call, I'm leaned back to be more relaxed, and also they're leaned back. So if I'm more forward and they're leaned back.
It depends on what I'm asking.
Okay.
If I'm more serious, what do you think I'm going to do if I'm more serious?
Lean forward?
Yes.
But in the connecting phase?
Connecting phase, I'm probably going to lean forward a little bit more, like while they're talking. So while they're talking, I'm going to lean in a little bit. It's typically what I want to do. Not all the time. Now, you can't, Okay, so I want you to be very careful because I don't want to like start seeing like calls and like Will's starting to do call reviews and everybody's like leaning in the whole time, like leaned in, Jeremy said to lean in all the time. It's just like, okay, how would you talk to your friend?
Be more.
If your friend was telling you something really important.
Yeah, I would lean forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to make Sam your friend.
I don't know
Now,
about Sam though.
in a way, okay, but a friend in a way where the prospect respects you, not just like you're my buddy, my friend, and I'm not going to buy from you, because there's a difference in that. Where they have to respect you is like, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. Like they're the authority, they're the expert. That's the type of friend you want to be, not just like the friend that they can just email all the time because their life sucks or something. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, does that help? All right. Other couple questions real quick before we move before we have somebody else role play. Who's it going to be? Yes, go ahead.
So in the connecting phase, for the more aggressive types, so let's say sometimes we get, in this particular offer, we get 2 types. Some of them are really excited to be on the call.
Okay, what do you sell?
I sell a couple ones, but this
Yield
one
farming?
is FMA. No, it's FMA.
Okay,
fully
so
managed.
that's like the Amazon stuff.
It's e-commerce. It's general, like...
Okay, e-commerce, Amazon, make more money, have more time, print more money, Lambos. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So sometimes the fight type guys, they jump into the call and say, hey, yeah, just real quick, what is that you do? No, it's a little coldish and more aggressive, like, yeah, just go to the point, man, like, like.
Okay, because they're in fight mode.
Yeah. My question is like, is it advisable to be a little challenging in that sense? Like, say...
Ooh, not that early.
Okay.
No, you got to be
Because
more
it's
like falling on your sword. Oh, yeah, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you.
Right.
Like in the beginning, I gotta like sword a little bit. It'd be hard for me to challenge somebody within 10 seconds where there's no
very
relationship.
politely. Sorry, I wasn't that, but yeah, something
Oh,
along those
don't
lines,
say
like,
sorry.
No, just
Okay.
like, I apologize.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you.
Okay, yeah.
Now, why would I say I apologize? I didn't mean to offend you. Why would I say that? I didn't mean to offend you.
Oh, you didn't offend me.
Because
Invokes that reaction.
Yeah.
What did I just do?
Disarm.
You guys are starting to get it. I should be a teacher. Okay, disarm. See, that's disarming because he's going to say, oh, no, you didn't offend me. But if I say, I'm so sorry, what does he immediately do? Pounces on you because you just demoted your status with him. See how you just demoted your status with, oh, I'm sorry, demoted your status, okay? So besides disarming, when the prospect gets on the call, and I just taught this the other day. Here's the prospect, here's you. You're both coming into Zoom, okay? The Zoom room or phone call or wherever. You have to, in his mind or her mind, be at least level ground, the same status or same level when that call starts within the first 30 seconds, okay? If you say things like, oh, I'm so sorry, or I what did I do wrong, or whatever, you immediately go below their status, it's over. Like there is no chance in hell they're gonna buy like 1 out of 100 maybe, okay? Now, we start to get into like situation, problem awareness, here they are, we start to go above their status, okay? Until we get up here by the end where they view us as the expert above their status. Because people don't typically want to buy from somebody below their status, meaning that somebody that's not an expert, right? Because if they don't feel like you can get them what they want or get them where they want to go, they want to go looking around for that. Will, let's pass the microphone to him.
A quick one there at the beginning is like if you are perhaps a minute or two late, kind of saying, oh, I'm sorry, whereas the switch is thank you for your patience, apologize for being a few minutes behind. Like I found like it was just an interesting shift that means that you're not dropping your status right from being, yes, it was your bad for being late, but if you can say almost like thank you for your patience, it's a shift that actually allows you to
see
keep
what
your
Will
status
just
level.
did? He did what? Disarm.
And they're like, oh, it's no worries. And then they're like, I get it. And now we're on the same playing field so that we can cruise into.
Thanks for your patience, Don. I'm just a little bit behind schedule. I was just on with another client.
Right.
Rather than like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late.
Yeah.
See what he just did there? That's important that you guys pay attention to what Will just said there. Will, well done. Okay. So remember, it's all about disarming, disarming, disarming. I mean, we're just starting here, but it's all about disarming, okay, in your questions, okay? All right, Tony, Sam, let's have somebody else. Okay, you guys get out of here, get lost. Okay, go. Good job. Give it up for Tony and Sam. Tony did pretty good.